Hi guys, it is Kieran from Red Devil Weekly, and we are live once again to preview another Manchester United fixture. Tonight's fixture is, of course, Manchester United versus Newcastle at Old Trafford. Second versus 17th, so really on paper it should be easy. But football's not played on paper, as we fully well know. But before we get into it, as always, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. And also, if you're watching as a video, please do let me know your thoughts or anything else on just anything, any questions, whatever you want to put in the comment section down below. I don't mind. Get your thoughts in because I love reading your comments. So if you are watching as a video, don't be afraid to put your thoughts in the comment section down below, your predictions or anything else you want to ask me. But thank you to everyone who's already liked the video. I saw before we went live, we already had about 4 or 5 likes. So thank you so much for that support. Really do appreciate it. We've already got Rich in here as well. He said he's early for once. Thanks for joining, Rich. Appreciate it. Make sure you do check out Rich's preview on his channel, Rich Sports. I do apologise, Rich, I wasn't able to be there. But yeah, really good preview. So make sure you do check that out if you haven't already. And Adam Talk Sport, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. And make sure to check out Adam Talk Sport as well. Good stuff over there. But we're going to get into the preview straight away because I don't want to dilly-dally. I don't want to beat around the bush. We're going to get straight into it and we're going to talk straight away about the opposition. And the first thing I want to talk about the opposition is the fact that on paper they're dog shit, to be honest. I'm not going to beat around the bush. They are a terrible side, a terrible footballing side under Steve Bruce. Even Newcastle United fans would agree that they've been really poor this season. One of the worst seasons for Newcastle United fans because of what I've been seeing on other previews. Newcastle fans seem to be thinking that they've got some decent players in their squad. They've got some decent personnel, some skillful players. But realistically, they just haven't been able to, make a good team performance. And Steve Bruce hasn't really been able to get the best out of those players. And as a fan of a club like Manchester United, we've known the feeling where you've got really good players in your team, but the manager or the coach or the players themselves can't put out their best performance, and obviously then you don't get to see the best of those players. And I think Newcastle are suffering from that at this moment in time. They've got some decent footballers, but they're just not gelling together, unfortunately. So hopefully that continues at Old Trafford and we don't see some sort of resurgent performance where they're backing the manager. If you know those sort of performances where their back's against the wall, the manager's getting a lot of stick, and all of a sudden they pull out this ridiculous performance. So hopefully, we're going to take advantage of that. But I think Newcastle United fans coming into this game will not be very confident at all. And I think United fans, or Manchester United fans, I'm sure I'll get some stick for calling United, obviously, with Newcastle United also having the United title as well. So, but to me, there's only one United. But anyway, moving on from that, I feel like, Manchester United fans will be very confident going into this game. After beating Sociedad 4-0 in such a convincing fashion, really, we're going to be confident going into this game. And I think, that's fair enough. But what I would say, and what I have put in the title, is that, we have to learn our lessons. We have to learn our lessons, and we can't underestimate what teams in front of us. I think we did that against Sheffield United. We did that against West Brom. We thought, you know what, easy victory. We're already chalking up the 3 points in our own virtual tables. And unfortunately, it didn't come to transpire that way. And I think that's the nature of this season, really. Those defeats and those performances have taught me about this season, and probably other United fans as well, that you can never take any win for granted. You can't take anything for granted, especially in the Premier League. And we got shown that. Sheffield United turned up and we didn't. The other night, West Brom turned up and we didn't. Everton obviously got the point. Whether they deserved it, realistically, I'm not too sure, but they got the point by hook or by crook. So it just shows that this league is so difficult to get points from. A few people have joined us, by the way. Welcome, Mensley. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it as always, friend. And welcome, Kobe. Thanks for joining. He says, "Hey, Kieran, back to the old backdrop now that Brendan isn't here." I didn't actually do that just because Brendan's not in the chat. I'm sure he'll join the chat at some point as well, and I'm sure I'll get comments about it, but I don't care about that, to be honest. Just a bit of banter, really. I don't mind. But I have put, just in case, I have put a little bit of a cover over all the kind of clothes and stuff in the background. So, maybe you can argue he's in my head. You can argue he's in my head rent-free, but realistically, I don't care too much. It's just a bit of banter anyway. But yeah, I'm just back to the old backdrop now, because why not? And he also says, if we have Lindelof and Maguire at the back, we can lose to anyone. I think, there's no doubt that that's probably our worst performing centre-back partnership. Consistently inconsistent, really. We've seen there's been a few decent performances. Obviously, away to Liverpool, he kept a clean sheet. Away to Arsenal, he kept a clean sheet. They have put in some decent performances recently, especially Victor Lindelof. But I think in the last few games, they've been poor. And I think Lindelof's been poor. Obviously for West Brom, that was the kind of biggest telltale sign that he's definitely not the right guy to go forward with. Still getting out-muscled from set pieces and still, not being able to mark his man effectively enough. Maguire, I think, actually looks alright when he's next to someone like Eric Bailly. I don't think Harry Maguire is the problem at the back. I actually think, his partner is the problem. So, I think Maguire and Bailly have a really good record. If we just stick to that, we can't go wrong, in my opinion. Owen's joined us. Thanks for joining, Owen. Appreciate it. It says, nice green screen you're using, lad. Looks like you're in a house. No, I'm just going to leave that one there, really. But Adam says, you having people on? Yeah, I'll have people on at some point in this stream. Probably at the point to which I've said all I need to say, really. But yeah, Newcastle 17th in the league. If we go back to the preview, in the 17th in the league, they have picked up a few scalps this season. Most recently, they went away to Everton and won 2-0. Everton, of course, who just beat Liverpool 2-0 at Anfield. So it's a pretty good performance to win at Everton. It's not quite the 3-1 that we achieved, but still have to give them the credit. And they also beat Southampton when they were down to 10 men as well. They were home to Southampton, beat them 3-2. But since then, they had some really poor results. Losing to Aston Villa, losing to Leeds, losing to Palace, who are frankly terrible this season, losing to Arsenal, losing to Sheffield United, which I think is the biggest one that stands out there. So they've had some really poor, results this season. So again, I don't think they're really a side that they're not a side that we should be worrying about. But as I said, we have to learn from our lessons. We have to be able to, put these sort of sides away. So hopefully we can do that. And if we are clinical, I'm sure we will put these sides away and get the job done. Rich says Liverpool's greatest team ever, R.I.P. No, Liverpool the greatest team ever, R.I.P. Sorry. Exactly. I mean, I don't know where all those people have gone now. I want to see those pundits. I want to see what these pundits are saying. Adam says, I had a bike accident. We need to win. No excuse. Right, yeah, hopefully they win. Hopefully you're right with that bike after that bike accident, Adam. Hopefully you're all patched up and okay. And yeah, hopefully they get a win for you. And hopefully those wounds heal. And hopefully a win will help that. Kobe says the worst title defence ever apart from the 14-15 United team. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we were that bad. I can't remember the last time we lost 4 consecutive home games in the Premier League. Even we've had really, really poor runs of form, but I don't think we've ever been that poor. So I don't know what's going to happen at Liverpool. I don't think much is going to change, really. There's no magic potion to get players fit again. And I think until Van Dijk or Joe Gomez comes back, they're going to look like this for games to come, really. So if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be a little bit worried, really. I think Champions League is starting to look a little bit daunting for them. I think the idea of them staying in, getting Champions League qualification through the top 4 is looking unlikely. So unless they go on another miracle run and in the Champions League, then for me, I don't see them getting Champions League. Rich says Newcastle fans expecting nothing from the game against us. Yeah, I don't really blame them, to be honest. Looking at that form, they don't look that great. Again, it kind of makes me worry a little bit, the fact that usually when we're confident and the opposition aren't confident, often things can happen. But it's one of those games where you look at it on paper and you just think we need to get the job done. We can't be a laughing stock again. Losing to Sheffield United was just the worst, really. To lose to a team that had not won all season, that was pretty much their first win. It was just so poor. So we need to get the job done, especially if we are going to eye up finishing in second. Solskjaer said after the, I think it was either Sociedad or West Brom game, I can't remember which, that, our objective is to, not finish below second place. And if we are going to do that, you've got to win these sort of games, especially at home. We smashed them away from home 4-1, even though we had a really poor start. So hopefully we can do that again. K-Side's joined us. Thanks for joining, K-Side. Appreciate it. Always good to see you, mate. Adam says their fullbacks are shit. Yeah, that's putting it bluntly, Adam. Tell us what you really think about their fullbacks. To be fair, I think they've got Andre Yedlin, who's very, very quick. I'll give him that. I'm not sure how good he is as a defender, but he's got a lot of pace. He probably could be a winger if he wanted to, but he's very, very quick. So he's probably going to be put on the likes of Rashford, and he'll probably look to nullify him. But as I said, if we are clinical in front of goal, if we finish our chances, we'll win the game, because that's how it goes. So we need to do that. And obviously it sounds very, very simple, the idea that if we take our chances, we'll win the game. Obviously, very, very simple. But, we do make it very, very difficult for ourselves at times to do that. And often we've failed to win games this season because we haven't taken simple chances. So, I'm not taking anything for granted. But we'll get on to Manchester United now, and obviously we've got a few injuries to talk about that we knew going into the Sociedad game, to be fair. Edinson Cavani obviously out of the game. Donny van der Beek probably out of the game as well. The fact they've got muscle injuries, I just don't see them starting. I don't see them starting this one. So I think the lineup will be pretty similar to the game we saw against Sociedad. I don't think there's going to be too many changes. There'll probably be a few changes. I think Henderson will come out of goal for David De Gea. We might see I think we will see Luke Shaw come back in for Alex Telles, because Luke Shaw obviously is our best fullback and probably player of the month for February. Obviously Bruno did well against Sociedad, and actually he's not been too bad this month in terms of stats. But in terms of actual performance and consistent performance, I reckon Luke Shaw has probably been our player of the month. But you guys can obviously argue amongst yourselves with that one. Apparently DeAndre Yedlin went to Galatasaray in the winter. Right, so it shows how much I know. In my defence, he did play for Newcastle. He was playing for them. So I'm only going to take half the banter for that. Rich says Chelsea went from champions to 10th, 13-14, 14-15. Is that the worst Premier League defence? I think that's a shocking defence, to be fair. But that was just a Mourinho meltdown, classic Mourinho meltdown. So yeah, I think that's. I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to look at all of them kind of on paper and on stats. But right now, I'm very much happy to say it's Liverpool. I'm happy to go with the narrative, even if the stats don't back it up. I'm very happy to go with Liverpool over anyone else. A few people have joined us. Matthew's joined us. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And Omar Elatar, thanks for joining as well. Appreciate it. He says, back to Maguire and Lindelof at the back as well. Partnership just doesn't work. I totally agree with you, Omar. Totally agree with you. And also Daz has joined us as well. Thanks for joining, Daz. Appreciate it. Make sure you do check out Daz's football stand. Brilliant stuff on there. But yeah, Omar, 100% agree with you, my friend. I think every United fan agrees with you. And the only person that's not picking Bay over Lindelof is the manager. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that the only person that counts really is the manager. So we can have all the opinion we want, we can say what we like, but realistically Solskjaer's got the final say. And I really do hope we see Maguire and Bay, because we've got a brilliant record with them in the team. We just look a lot more comfortable, a lot more assured. We can play it out from the back a lot better. So we need to see them. We need to see them for me. Dazza says Dubravka, Shelby, Joe Linton, etc. to watch out for. Well, I was actually watching on Sky Sports. I think Ben Foster was ranking his top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League, and he actually ranked Dubravka in 4th place. And to be fair to him, one thing I would say about Dubravka is that if he had a better defence in front of him, I actually think he'd look even better than he is. One thing I would say is that he faces the most amount of shots in the Premier League, and he does make some worldy saves. But I think if he actually had a decent defence in front of him, he probably would keep a lot more clean sheets. And I think the one thing that's keeping him from, having one of the top rates of clean sheets in the Premier League is the fact his defence is terrible. So that's my thoughts on that. So Dubravka is one of those keepers that can just have a worldy performance. Obviously, the last few times we played them, it hasn't been an issue. Carl Darlow as well. Carl Darlow is another one of those keepers that can pull out a worldy performance when they want to. So again, we've got to be worried about that, especially keepers coming to Old Trafford. We know how that one goes down. Kobe says his lineup is De Gea and Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Rashford, Bruno, Greenwood and Martial. A very attacking lineup with Rashford, Bruno, Greenwood and Martial, and then you've got Fred in there. Obviously that seems like a predicted lineup considering you put Lindelof in with Maguire. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Ole goes back to Maguire and Lindelof. In fact, as Omar said, I think all of us are probably, kind of expecting the inevitable, really, to go back to Maguire and Lindelof and just having to suck it up. We're just going to have to suck it up, really. Rich says, I've heard Joe Linton is absolute shite from Newcastle fans. To be fair, when I've watched Joe Linton, he hasn't exactly been, well, let's say he hasn't exactly been world class in front of goal. He's been pretty poor, especially for what? The record fee for Newcastle. I think they paid like 40 million for him. An absolute joke when you think about it. Apparently Dazza says Schär is out, so Fabian Schär. And to be fair, he seems like one of their better players. But yeah, I mean, even if Newcastle played their full-strength side, we shouldn't be worrying about them, really. We should be putting them away no matter if they've got their full-strength team. But obviously, the fact they've got a few important players injured will play into our favour. Omar says, buy when fit should 100% play. Even Turin deserves to run of games. What was even the point in keeping him and preventing a loan spell when he barely plays? Well, the thing is with Turin is actually, when he has played this season, when he started this season, he's actually had a few decent performances. The one against PSG was probably the one that stuck out where he kept, Mbappe, Neymar and Di Maria quiet. That's pretty well the one that stands out. Obviously, you've had the kind of nightmare games for Turin when he's come off the bench with 5 minutes to go, like he did against Everton. I'm sure you guys remember that one, giving away the free kick in the first kind of 5 seconds. So yeah, I do feel bad for Turin really, not getting that sort of game time. But realistically, as you said, Omar, Bai should play when 100% fit, no doubt about it. Adam says he better not play Lindelof. Yeah, of course, we're all thinking that, Adam. But you know what? I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. Kobe says, watch out for St. Maximum. Yeah, Alan St. Maximum, he's probably their main threat, I would say. Almiron as well. Almiron can be good on his day, but I reckon St. Maximum is the guy with the pace. He's got, brilliant dribbling. He will cause us problems. And actually, in his first game that he played against us of last season, he did cause us a lot of problems. I think he was away at Newcastle. He looked very, very good. So he's the sort of player that can turn it on when he needs to. But I feel like he's also the sort of player that needs some good players around him to feed. Realistically, as a winger, you can, you can try and do all you like. You can try and win games on your own. But realistically, you have to have other players in and around you that have got high skill levels that can help you out. And I think, unfortunately, without Callum Wilson, which I think is their biggest miss, without a striker like Callum Wilson, they're going to struggle to create. That's my thing. I think they're going to struggle to create. Yeah, Della says BT Sports tomorrow night. Yeah, obviously not on Sky, it's on BT, I think. Well, that's what Dazza's saying anyway, and I trust Dazza, I trust him. And he also says Cavani, Scotty and Van der Beek could all be out. Yeah, I heard that, before the Sociedad game, Cavani and Van der Beek obviously had muscle injuries. But I think Scotty McTominay was playing through a little bit of an injury. I heard that was the rumour that McTominay was playing through a few injuries there. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that we are going to have a few injuries, and we just got to get on with it. This is why we brought in the players we did. This is why we've got the squad depth, and hopefully our squad depth is now going to show through. Obviously Liverpool didn't have the squad depth, and that's meant that the injuries that they've had have just completely decimated them. But hopefully for us, the squad depth we have will be able to kind of pull us through. Omar says, double up on St. Maximum and you'll nullify him the entire game. You can't carry Newcastle, especially without Wilson. That's exactly what I was saying, Omar. Exactly what I was saying. St. Maximum is a decent player, but if you can nullify him out of the game, he's not the kind of player that will win Newcastle the game on his own. He does need players in and around him that he can feed and that he can feed off. So yeah, I think I 100% agree with that. As Kobe says, Callum Wilson is also out, and I said that's a massive boost for us, really. As if we needed a boost, really, but it's a massive boost for us. The fact that they don't have that frontline number 9 who, actually has been in decent form this season. He played really well against Everton, bagged the brace that won them the game 2-0. So he's a big game player, Callum Wilson. He can score those goals that are all important in games. So we've got to hope, the fact that he's out, and as Rich says here, Wilson is nearly half their goals. Callum Wilson has nearly scored half of their goals this season. So the fact he's out is a boost for us in terms of who we're coming up against. But we've got to beat who we come up against anyway. You've got to beat who's in front of you, and I'm sure Newcastle will be playing with nothing to lose, and that can be a dangerous thing, especially when they're playing against us. Della says, can't wait to concede the bloody Ginger Longstaff to score and annoy the hell out of us tomorrow. Just written in the stars. To be fair, it always does seem to be that Longstaff gets a goal. I'm pretty sure the only time he scores is against Manchester United. I literally can't remember another team that he scored against. I really can't. I can't remember the last time he scored against someone other than us. But yeah, it's ridiculous. But hopefully he doesn't do it again. If he does, I'm just going to accept there's some sort of jinx. There's some sort of weird thing happening. Omar says, even if Cavani is fit, no point in rushing him back. He's had a lot of injuries in the last year. Martial is fit to play him at striker. Ole needs to stop playing Martial at left wing. He's much better up top. One thing I would say about that is that in terms of Martial's finishing, now I'm not just singling out Martial because Rashford's finishing is poor. I'm not sure if Greenwood's finishing has been the same sort of standard as last season, but then he gets a little bit of a bye because he is only 19. But would you say Martial really has the finishing to play up front? That's the question. I think obviously he wants to be the number 9, but as of right now, the form he's in, his finishing's been really off. And when you do play number 9, you need that finishing. I actually think in terms of his link-up play against Sociedad, it wasn't that bad when he came on. He can link up the play, he can run at defenders, but his finishing's been off. So I think Ole might go with Rashford up front, but I see what you mean in terms of no point playing Martial on the wing. But I'd say that, Martial's finishing, for me, isn't up to the standard as of right now to be a striker. I think we've seen in the past it can be, and I really do hope it gets back to, that. But I think, unfortunately, this season, it hasn't been that up to standard. But I do hope it gets back to his best. Owen says Martial's our best performer right now. I'm not sure if that's bait or whether that's just... I mean, look, I'm not here to slate Martial. I'm not here to start I hate anti-Martial club. I'm not here to state that, to start that. But, I do want to... you have to, call a spade, really. Omar saying, can we just laugh at how United were going to spend 30 or 40 million on Longstaff, a player who doesn't even make the 11 for Newcastle? Director of football is needed. Yeah, I remember those rumours, mate. And I'm so glad we're past that. Jamie's joined us. Jamie, thanks for joining. Always good to see you, Jamie. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate all of your support. And hitting that like button really does go a long way. So if you do want to, please do feel free to do so. But don't feel pressured to do so either. But Jamie, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. The comments, keep the comments coming. Dazza says, after last game, I would actually start both James and Greenwood again. Then we can utilise their pace and maybe introduce Diallo at some point. One thing I would say about Daniel James is, as we talked about in the match review, I was so impressed with Daniel James. I thought he played really well. He stepped up to the plate and took his goal well. But against the low block, and realistically, Newcastle will be turning up at Old Trafford playing the low block. 2 banks of 4, defending on their 18-yard line. Is Daniel James going to be that effective? That's the question I'll put to you guys. Owen says Diallo starting would be great. I mean, if Diallo starts, I'll be very, very surprised. But who knows, really, with Solskjaer. As Rich says, I don't think so, Owen. I don't think so. Yeah, it's wishful thinking, really. I mean, Diallo actually, in the 10 minutes he got, and to be honest with you, I wanted to see him get more than 10 minutes. But in the 10 minutes he got, he actually looked alright. He had a few decent touches. I want to see more of him. I'm intrigued. Omar says, in the league, 53 goals and 32 big chances missed. 8 this season, which shows he's struggling. And Rashford with 46 open play goals and 48 big chances missed. He's a lot more clinical than Rashford. To be honest, I'm not going to argue that Rashford has been suffering from the exact same thing. Rashford, for me, has missed loads of big opportunities. That Sociedad game, he had 2 chances before he scored, and all 3 of the chances he got in the game, really, 9 times out of 10, you'd be expecting an elite centre forward to put that in the back of the net. But he obviously only scored 1, and that's the thing that kind of gets me about our forward players right now, is that they need 2 or 3 chances before they put one in the back of the net. Whereas the likes of Harry Kane, Haaland, Lewandowski, these guys, they have 1 chance and bang, it's in the back of the net, and they put their team 1-0 up. And that's the difference between an elite striker and a decent striker. So we've seen that sort of form from Rashford and Martial. We just need them to get back into that sort of form. Matthew says, we've seen his finishing can be up to standard. Have we? I think we have. Last season. To be fair, I mean, what about the Sheffield United game? He looked pretty good in that one. So I think he can have good finishing when he wants it to be. When he's on form, when he's feeling it, he can finish very, very well. But as of right now, he's not producing, which is unfortunate. Jamie says his lineup anyway is De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly, Shaw, the McFred, Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford and Martial in the 4-2-3-1 formation. Yeah, I think that's probably fair enough. I think that's very, very similar to the one I'd go with. Very, very similar indeed. I think I can't say much more than that, Jamie. I think you got it absolutely spot on. And when I go through my predicted 11, you'll see how spot on you've got it in terms of great minds think alike. Owen says, unfortunately, I have to agree with you, Rich. What did Rich say? Sorry. Rich says, that's Diallo starting, of course, yeah. Owen also says, any chance of getting Minamino from Liverpool? Looks a player. Right, let's not get into that. He did well. No, he did a job for us today. He got the goal against Chelsea. Fair play to him. He did a job for us today. But no way am I having Minamino in our team. Omar says, James thrives on spacing behind. Against low blocks, he'll struggle immensely. I totally agree, Omar. Making some great points tonight, Omar, as is everyone in the live chat. Adam says, yes, James played good against Sociedad. He did have a very, very good game. He definitely had a good game. Jamie says, nah, Diallo won't even be on the bench tomorrow. Wow, I tell you what, that would be a bit of a drop to be cut from the team. Although Solskjaer is the kind of guy who doesn't want to rush these young players. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. You can't rush these players. I think it was Daza that actually made the point on the review he did a few days ago that even though Diallo has showed some promise, we don't want to rush him in and play him too much, and then he picks up an injury or he just lacks confidence because he has a few bad games. We don't want to do that. We don't want to throw him into the deep end too early. He looks like he's decent talent, but you need to nurture talents like that. Omar says, Rashford literally can go up another level or 2 with better finishing / decision making. It's a decision making which just hurts my brain. He's so talented as well. Yeah, and look, I think actually I was watching someone else, another stream actually, and they made a good point that if you actually look at Rashford's overall game, it's improved since he first came. It actually has improved quite a lot. And, his physical stature is a lot better. But one thing I agree with is the decision making. How many times do we see in a game where Rashford will pick up the ball and he's nutmegged someone, he's done a brilliant skill move to get round and he's running through. And then instead of making a simple pass to keep the move going, he'll try and go through another crowd of players. And you just think, just pass it off, keep the move going. And I understand that sometimes you do that, get that sort of adrenaline rush where, you get past one player and you think you're Ronaldo. But realistically, a quality player with a great temperament just kind of takes his time, passes the ball into the right area, and keeps the move going. So that's the one thing that I agree he needs to improve on a little bit. Kobe said, apparently James's goal against Sociedad was a pass to Ahmad. Yeah, I tell you what, the trajectory of the shot, I don't think really it was a pass. I can't say I agree with it if James has said that. Owen just says, just waiting for Matthew Coyle to give us a stat about how Newcastle haven't won at Old Trafford since 1941. And jinx us. Yeah, there's always stats like that flowing about. I'm sure there's always stats like that flowing about. But to be fair, that was what happened against Sheffield. Connor's joined us. Yank Talking Smack, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Make sure you do check out Yank Talking Smack. Brilliant stuff over there. He says, we have to win this. Couldn't agree more. Have to win this. And it's a big opportunity. Liverpool dropping points, Chelsea dropping points. We need to win this. We do need to take this opportunity. Rich says Everton hadn't won at Anfield for 22 years, though. Oh, yeah, as I said, I'm sure there's some sort of stat. I'm sure there's some sort of stat coming. But I'll get I'll get up my predicted 11 in just a second, and you guys can add to some of the predicted 11s that I've seen in the live chat. Obviously, you've had Kobe give his predicted 11, Jamie give his, so you guys as well, if you want to give your predicted 11s, now is the time. We'll go through them and we'll unpick them, but I'm sure they'll probably be very, very similar. Omar said, Diallo better be on the bench. His close control / dribbling and football intelligence looks great. I've been so hyped for him to get minutes. Deserves a start or at least 45 minutes against Sociedad. Yeah, I know. I thought when we went 3-0 up, realistically, Diallo should have come on. I don't understand why we made him wait. I can understand blooding in slowly and being a bit patient, but realistically, that game was over and done with. They didn't look like really threatening at all in the second half. We could have brought him on a lot earlier. That's all I'm saying. We could have brought him on a lot earlier. Connor says Lewandowski will win it next year, but I'm talking like 2024. Oh no, he says, this is the comment he's kind of going after. He says Rashford, Foden, Haaland and Mbappe are all going to be fighting for Ballon d'Or in the future. I agree. I totally agree. Those guys are just killing it right now. Killing it. And as I said, hopefully, the likes of Rashford and just Rashford really, out of all those, can go on to bigger and better things. But obviously, there's the kind of old era of Ronaldo and Messi is kind of fading away. Those guys have got to take up the mantle, and hopefully they do, and hopefully it'll be a good era for football. Corey said, if Steve Bruce gets sacked, can we hire him as a defending coach for Maguire? I tell you what. He does. Steve Bruce. You guys might, moan, or I might hear a communal groan after I say this, but Harry Maguire does remind me a little bit of Steve Bruce. He does remind me a little bit of what I've seen of him. We've had a laugh in the gantry, but all I'm saying is that he does remind me a little bit of Steve Bruce. That's all I'm saying. Please do. Obviously, I'm sure there's a few of you in the chat, I think I know, who've actually watched Steve Bruce live, so you guys will be able to, tell a little bit more. But, the fact he gets on the end of headers, and it's just his body shape. I don't know what it is. Jamie says, bet Andy Carroll starts tomorrow, so Bailly must start. He will bully Lindelof in the air. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that is one thing I don't want to see. Andy Carroll on Victor Lindelof. That would be absolute nightmare. That would be an absolute nightmare. But to be fair, if Steve Bruce had any sort of footballing intelligence, that's what he'd do. Connor says, the thing we need to give some players like Williams and James a true run of appearances before we hit the big games later. Well, yeah, listen, it's kind of the Van der Beek complex, as I like to call it. If you don't give a player a decent run of games, realistically, they're never going to be able to show any sort of form when they do get into the squad. And so it's to your detriment if you don't give these guys minutes. Yes, they're only there really to rotate the squad, and they do a good job of it. But if you don't give them regular runouts, or of at least 30 minutes or more in games, if you only sub them on with like 5 minutes to go in a game, they're never going to be able to get up any sort of form. And therefore, when they do come off the bench and you do expect something from them, they're not going to be able to provide anything. Let's see. Owen says his lineup right. He says Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly. So that's what, a five at the back. He says Telles, McTominay, Fred, and Bruno. So Telles. So I'm pretty sure that's 6. Is that 6 at the back? Maguire. No, you've gone with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly. Yeah, that's 6 at the back. You've gone with there with McTominay and Fred and Bruno up front. That's incredible. And to be honest with you, as Rich says, how many defenders, Owen? How many defenders? How many do you need? But to be honest with you, with your agenda with Dean Henderson, I'm surprised that you wouldn't say, we don't need any defenders. If Henderson's that good, why do we need any defenders? Mia, thanks for joining. Mia, appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Obviously, Dazza may actually be on the. I will be getting people on the call, so he might want to join if he can. Omar says predicted lineup, or in brackets, what Ollie will do. He goes with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, McFred if McTominay isn't fit, Matic, Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, and Martial. I think we're all kind of pretty well agreed on that. That's kind of what Solskjaer always goes back on. As the biggest thing really, Lindelof coming in for Bailly. Obviously De Gea coming back in as well. Some people suggesting actually that Henderson is much better at commanding his area, and one thing I have to say is that Henderson against Sociedad did come out for crosses and he did seem a lot more authoritative, but I still think David De Gea as an overall goalkeeper is better. That's just my thing. Connor says Henderson, Williams, Maguire, Bailly, Shaw, Fred, McTominay, Bruno, James, Rashford and Greenwood. So Brandon Williams getting a run out as well. I'll tell you what, I did see what I think maybe in the last stream actually, I saw people talking about the fact that Aaron Wan-Bissaka might need a rest. I think it was Adam actually that brought up the point in the call we were having where Aaron Wan-Bissaka has played pretty well every game we've had this season, and he's definitely at risk of getting an injury. The way he runs and the way he operates. I would not be surprised if he does pick up some sort of muscle injury. So we need to be careful with that. Omar, Williams, Turin, James, etc. all get minutes against Sociedad. Ole has to rest the first team. Yeah, I think that's true. That is true, actually. Obviously, we do have that Sociedad game next Thursday, so if we can play our best players in this one, they will be able to get a rest in that one. So it's a good point. Good point. Oh yeah, also, there's only 10 players in that lineup. There's only 10 players in that one. Mia says, hi, Red Devil Weekly, I'm new here. Well, thanks for joining, appreciate it. I've seen you over on Daz's channel, so it's great to have a few cross-channel viewers. So thank you very much to Daryl for that, and also thanks for coming. Owen says, can't be sure at the moment, they're going to spam set pieces. Yeah, they probably will. Set pieces is where they'll look to exploit, 100%. Kobe says, 6 to the back, Owen, we're not playing bloody prime Barcelona. Yeah, I know, I found that strange, Kobe, but to be honest with you, coming from Owen, maybe it's not as strange as I thought. Jamie says, thing is tomorrow, results have gone our favour today, but tomorrow we'll drop points. Exactly, that's the problem. That's the problem, is every time results go in our favour, we never seem to take the opportunity. We've gotten a little bit better at it this season, but still we've managed to do that sort of thing where teams have dropped points and then we drop points as well, and we've gone, well, to be fair, our situation hasn't changed. But then actually you look at it and go, we could have been so much better off. The Everton game, if we just held on to we'd be like, what, 8 points ahead of Liverpool? It's these sort of things which kills you in the end. Omar said, De Gea deserves to start. The media agenda against him is ridiculous. Making constant mistakes, then I would drop him, but he's been solid. Everton is the only game he made. I could not agree more, Omar. Could not agree more. I backed De Gea 100%, and really, up until the end, he was pretty well faultless. He was pretty well faultless up to the Everton game. And I know people have been saying that we should be giving Henderson more time, and probably that has also contributed to the fact that people want Henderson in. But at the same time, I think Henderson. I think De Gea is a better all-round goalkeeper, but it's good to have 2 good goalkeepers. It's good. Apparently, I'm lagging a little bit. I do apologise if I am. As I said, I can't do much about that. If I am lagging, then I'm not sure if the call's going to work. But we might try it out. We may as well try it out. Yeah, I do. If I am lagging a little bit, hold on. Let me just. Let me know. Let me know if it sorts itself out. If it does sort itself out, then I will put the link in and we'll have a little bit of a chat. So yeah, let me know. I just had to listen to myself there in my phone. So yeah, let me know if I am lagging a little bit. If I am, then so be it. We might have to end it a little bit early. Let's see. Rich says we mustn't give away stupid free kicks on the edge of the box. Yeah, exactly. You're telling me. Scott McTominay is someone that does that quite a lot. Fred as well. Fred can give away a few. Fred is liable to give away a few set pieces. So we have a few players in our team that can do that. So yeah, we need to. That's the sort of thing that Newcastle will be looking to make chances from the set pieces and stuff. So hopefully we just pick our moments, and even though we want to be aggressive in intercepting and putting on that counter attack, we don't need to do anything stupid like that. Before I put the link in, Omar goes, the media want Henderson in for the Euros. No one ever called for Romero to start last season, despite De Gea's mistakes. It's a good point. But it's funny because the English media will be the first people to tear Henderson down as well if he has an absolute terrible time at the Euros. But that's the English media for you. But we'll put the link in. We'll have about probably like a 10-minute conversation. It's not going to be too long. But just to see what you guys are saying. If it does make the stream a little bit laggy, then I do apologise. You might have to do something else about that. So we'll put the link in. If join, then they can do. Hopefully these still work. As I said, if you haven't already, hit that like button as well. Get us up to 10 likes. Right, that seemed to work, so everything's in order. Jamie says John Joe Shelby to turn into Zidane. I mean, if McTominay can do it, then John Joe Shelby can have a crack at it as well. But yeah, that would I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. He's the kind of guy that'll have an absolute quality game. Naveen's joined us. Naveen, always great to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining. He says Liverpool has not been the same since Bruno played at Anfield. True. I like that little link you made there. I fully back that. And actually, someone made the point to me today, actually, that we did kind of soften up Liverpool at Anfield. We went to Anfield, we stopped them from scoring. We made them look pretty average, really. It was the first time we've been to Anfield and we've come away annoyed that we didn't win the game, which for me was a good sign. But Liverpool just haven't looked the same, really. But we'll add Daz and we'll add Adam to the stream as usual. Get the usual suspects on. Make sure you do check out Daz's Football Stand, obviously UK Dolphins, as well as Adam Talk Sport. But guys, it'll be a little bit of a brief chat tonight. So if you guys in the live chat as well want to give these guys any questions or any debate topics we can just have a little bit of a chat about for these last kind of 10-15 minutes, and please do get involved in the live chat. So we'll come to you, Dazza, first on this one. Going into this Newcastle game, obviously it's pretty well most games you've always been the one to say that we shouldn't underestimate teams. Is this another case in this game coming up?
Definitely. Although Newcastle United aren't doing as well as a lot of people would have predicted, considering they got St. Maximin, etc. He's sort of the only one who actually carries their team, because not a lot of players in their squad can actually do much. Wilson's out, Shaw's out. They're the only main players, really. Shelby sometimes turns into Prime Sedan, as someone mentioned in the chat. A.K. Baltimore, I think Mark Obridge calls him. You got Dubravka, as you said, really good goalkeeper. Wilson's out. They've got some big players out as well, and they'll find it very. Hang on a sec. They'll find it very difficult against us, because we'll just probably attack the crap out of them like we normally do. If we play like we did against Real Sociedad, then I can't see us not winning, to be honest with you. But yeah, I agree that they're a side that you cannot underestimate, especially with Matty Longstaff. And he's always going to start against United. The one time he started against United and he scores, I just have a feeling that's going to happen again. You just written in the stars, isn't it? So,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I remember when you actually made the point in the chat, I was thinking, yep, that sounds about right. Matty Longstaff getting his third career goal against us. But a few little questions coming through here as well. I'll come to you, Adam, on what you think of the game overall. But at first, I want to ask you, Adam. Omar's asked, do people think McTominay is a starter for United? I think he can be a fantastic squad player. I just don't think he's a week in, week out starter. Adam, firstly, do you think that Scott McTominay is a week in, week out starter? Do you think he has that quality? Yes. And second of all, what are your thoughts going into the game?
Well, for the Scott McTominay question, McTominay, he's a good player and he's improving. He's improving season by season. But I don't know if you can say he's a start for United. Because realistically, there is competition for midfield. And he's not really a true CDM. If you think about it, he's more of a box-to-box. But we play him in more of the defensive midfielder role. Just because Matic is slow, so we can't really rely on him. And we play that, and McTominay, he's not a CDM, he's a centre mid. That's why I just feel like we need to get a CDM and give McTominay the chance to be a midfielder. But then, if Pogba resigns, I don't know if he will, or we go get someone else, you have Pogba, Van der Beek and Fernandes all coming for your spot if you're McTominay. So it's difficult, but I think not right now because he's not a midfielder. And for my prediction being Newcastle, after that Sheffield game, I've learned not to underestimate any team. But if we don't get a win v Newcastle, the TV is getting thrown out the window. I mean, we should not lose to Steve Bruce and Newcastle. The only type of thinking Steve Bruce does is if he wants extra chili sauce on his kebabs. He never thinks about, I want to win a football game, because the guy's probably just happy he's not unemployed yet.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, as Kobe says, if we lose to Steve Bruce, it'd be like losing a game of hide and seek to Stevie Wonder. He's crap. If you know, you know. Exactly. Well, I mean that was a perfect timing, really, from Kobe there. But yeah, no, I agree. I think we should not be losing this game. No chance, really.
I don't know if there's any Newcastle fans watching, but some bad news for them. Fulham are currently winning the Sheffield and Luke.
Oh dear.
And Fulham actually look better now. You know, they've signed this striker called Madra. He scored on his debut. Lookman's a good, whatever. Lookman looks good. So, you know, Newcastle, they gotta be careful. But I bet you all, this is a game where Newcastle might win, and then they go on like a big run where they.
Technical difficulties. No worries.
But you know, if Newcastle can be one of those teams. If we win against them, they can go on a massive run, which was it wouldn't be good. So my overall thinking is that it has to be 3 points, nothing less. I would not be happy with a draw. I wouldn't obviously be happy with a loss. So we just need to go. We just need to go out there and just. I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, Jamie.
It was my dad.
Fair play. But yeah.
You had to come off at that time.
I know, it's just a perfect timing on a comedic level. Perfect. I mean, as they say, what's the secret of comedy?
Yeah,
timing.
I agree with Omar.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it doesn't really.
Because we've dropped points a lot now, and we're not winning the league. City have already won the league, but we have to at least try and just stay in second and build on the points. You know, Bruno will. I think our wingers will cause Newcastle's fullbacks problem, and as I said, Newcastle's fullbacks are not good.
Right. I tell you what. We'll get some comments in first and foremost. Naveen says McTominay can become like Cruz. They have similarities in shooting, taking on players, but Scott has been more creative. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I think, you know, Scott McTominay recently hasn't actually been too bad in terms of going forward. That was obviously Omar asking about Scott McTominay. Naveen says Greenwood hat-trick incoming. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. And Omar says must win. Anything else is unacceptable. I agree. I think that's pretty well.
Him, so hopefully no more calls. But as I was saying, I'm just going to put my phone on silent. Okay, hopefully no more calls now. But our fullbacks, our wingers should cause problems, and obviously Bruno's going to cause their defence problems. Hopefully Jason Cundy isn't listening, because he doesn't like the fact that Man U rely on Bruno.
Oh God.
Oh, Bruno's so good, Jason Cundy. Well, how the mighty have fallen. You're relying on Bruno to get you the point. Jason, mate, you look like a 48-year-old divorced idiot who lives in his mother's basement.
Well, that's him told, to be fair. Lennox, by the way, thanks for joining, Lennox. Appreciate it.
Sorry about the phone going off.
No, don't worry about it, mate. Honestly, trust me, this is not like a professional studio. I don't mind that sort of thing. It's all natural, Lennox is, thanks for joining, Lennox. Appreciate it. hope you're well. He says, going for a 2-0 win. Hopefully a clean sheet. Yeah, a clean sheet would be great. I can't remember the last time we've actually had a clean sheet, so that would do nicely. Jamie says we can go. Yeah, that's right, Southampton. Yeah, 9-0 that was actually. A repeat of that would be grand if we could just do that again. That would be perfect.
I have a feeling he's going to pick Lindelof, and I don't. Listen, can Ollie not see? Is Ollie seeing something different with Bailly or with Lindelof that we're not seeing? Because Bailly has proved it every time he's played that them two work, but for some reason he still picks Lindelof. Either he just really thinks Lindelof's good, or he just doesn't like Bailly. What doesn't make sense is Bailly. Those games we need like that goal from West Brom when that how do I pronounce his name? Diagne. Thank you, Darryl. I feel like Bailly would have stopped that. And plus, he's literally the perfect partner. Yeah, he's injury prone, but Maguire's slow, Bailly's fast. Maguire's good in the air, Bailly's good on the ball. But Ollie's like, no, fantastic. Let's play. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Lindelof, fantastic. I swear to God, if I see Rashford do like one dribble in the box again, where he's literally one-on-one and he keeps doing dribbling moves, why can you? He either does that or he just shoots it straight at the keeper. Like he's got the hardest chances, but then misses the easiest ones.
Crap at it.
You know, that is one thing that I definitely agree. I think obviously we chatted about it a little bit in the live chat. I think some people made the point is that, you know, Rashford can be very, very good, but realistically, you know, his decision making recently hasn't been great. But I'm going to bring Dazza back in on this one. Firstly, in terms of the defensive partnership, because that seems to be what's on the topic right now, Omar says Maguire and Lindelof equals a donkey partnership. Maguire and Lindelof equals... No, but Maguire/Lindelof with Bailly equals good. Naveen says the only player at United who he really needs, but we're wasting, is Axel Tuanzebe. Needs to play more. Interesting take there from Naveen. And Lennox says Maguire and Bailly have to start. However, they didn't play together when we lost 6-1 to Spurs. So I want to ask you, Dazza, before... you give your score prediction. In terms of a centre-back partnership, is Maguire and Bailly the partnership we should go with? And also, why do you think potentially Solskjaer doesn't go with Maguire and Bailly more often?
Well, on the second question, I couldn't tell you because I don't understand why he doesn't go for Bailly over Lindelof and stuff. I mean, you know, I agree with the point. You know, whether if Lindelof or Maguire plays alongside Eric Bailly, we play well. Doesn't matter which one of them plays, but I don't understand it. I think Bailly is a fantastic player. Should be starting more often. And Lindelof's a flop really. Like there's been a few occasions where he's been at fault for the goals or Maguire has. They don't work well as a partnership. I don't understand why. Is it just because one's probably better than the other? Although I think they're both as bad as each other. You know, are they trying to compete against each other or something? It's confusing, really. And on the second question, I wouldn't be able to answer it because it's not really us who... We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It must be something happening behind the scenes, or maybe because he's been injured before and stuff. He maybe doesn't want to risk him too much, but I really don't understand it, in fairness. But yeah, since by the way, on Owen's back six, we're not Tony Pulis style.
I swear,
we don't play Tony Pulis football.
I need to get that back up actually, just for reference.
6 defenders against Newcastle. Jesus Christ, you might as well just wait.
We need to try and just... I know we mostly struggle...
Here was Owen's lineup, by the way. Here's what he went with. Go on, Adam.
But, fam, is that just 6 at... Okay.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it.
Wait,
There's only
did
10 men.
I just hear Owen in the back?
Yeah. There's
I'm not
only
sure if you
10
did.
Men. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
there's 11
I
men on
mean,
the pitch, not 10.
well, no. I think he's saying the referee counts as 11 if we have the referee.
That wouldn't be
but
fine.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's thinking with that. To be honest with you, I really don't. I
How
don't.
do I change my profile?
I mean, who knows what goes on in that mind of his? Who really knows?
Sheffield
I
United
don't know
lost.
it. Well,
Makes you wonder,
well, there you
makes
go.
you wonder how we lost to them.
Well, exactly. That just gets me even more. A few predictions coming in before I get asked Adam and Dazzle their predictions. Not Dazzle. Dazzle their predictions before we wrap up. Jamie goes for a 3-1 win to United. I'm liking that. I'll take that all day long. Likes, by the way. Apparently we've got 10 likes. I appreciate you guys for liking. Really do appreciate it. Rich says 3-0 win. So Rich going a bit more optimistic than Jamie. We're going to keep a clean sheet. I like that. Kobe goes with 2-0 to United. And Owen going with 2-1. So if we play as 6 of the back formation, we might... well, I don't think we'll score 2. But, you know...
It'd be a 0-0 draw.
Well, exactly. Omar says that's such a hilarious lineup. Lol, it's 10 players in 6-2-1 formation. Exactly. I think I think we're glad. We're all glad that Owen's not on the coaching staff. Let's just say that. But anyway, I'm going to come to you guys now before we wrap it up. We'll come to you, Adam, first. Your score prediction going into this game.
I want to go confident, but every time I do go confident, it always seems to end up bad. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think probably someone like Almiron will score, but I'm going forward again. I'm being confident. I think obviously Bruno's going to score, because if we're going to win, Bruno's obviously going to score all assists, maybe even both. I think Bruno will score 2, Rashford will score 1, and Greenwood will score 1.
I like that.
I don't think Diallo's going to be on the bench, because I feel like it's only for Europa League that he's going to be involved. I don't think he's going to get him involved in the Prem right now. I think we'll see him on Thursday, maybe even starting, but for now I'm going 4-1, and hopefully, if we don't win against Steve Brewster.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope 4-1 sounds good to me. A few comments before we get to Dazzler.
To be fair, even I don't mind if it's a win. I don't care if it's a scrap.
Of course, yeah, of course.
And we nick it 1-0 at the end from our own goal. I don't mind, because we need to just pick up points. Right now, it doesn't matter how we play. It's just about picking up the point. Obviously,
exactly.
Good, but
Naveen says, how is Ollie happy with Maguire and Lindelof after himself playing along with Rio, Vidic, Stam? Doesn't he get how important the defence is and how much it's costing? Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, obviously it's a different quality of player. I mean, they just had a ridiculous generation of players, and Strikes Ferguson obviously was able to bring guys in. So, you know, I mean, he did play with some very, very good centre-backs, and he obviously doesn't... He'll rate them much higher than the ones he's got, but I think he's just got the ones he's got, really.
I'll answer Naveen's question with my Ollie accent. Well, you know, Naveen, Harry's fantastic. He's got the header size of 500 Fedor bars. And Lindelof, well, I can't even say it for Lindelof. Lindelof
Can I just say, that sounds like Norwegian mixed with Italian.
Lindelof is fantastic.
More Italian.
Can I just apologise to any Norwegian people watching? Iron Man, thanks for joining, appreciate it. He says, De Gea, Alwan Masaka, by Maguire, Shaw, Matic, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, James and Martial. So another one going with Daniel James. He goes with a 3-0 win to Manchester United. No.
Did you laugh or did you sneeze when you heard the lineup? Because it sounded like a laugh but also a sneeze.
Well, I've sneezed at least twice. Have you not heard me blow the earwax out of
No, trust me. Don't, it's a lovely sound. Naveen goes with 4-0. I like that a lot, Naveen. Omar says, I doubt Carrick, McKenna, Fletcher and Phelan are any better. He goes with a 3-0, hopefully, but probably 3-1. Martial, Rashford and Greenwood all on the score sheet. And Rich says, I don't like 6 at the back and only 10 players. Yeah, exactly. Listen, Owen, as I said, we know that Owen is not going to be on any sort of coaching staff anytime soon, and that is a good thing.
Why the hell have I been just sent a video of Carl Weezer?
I don't know who that is, and we're getting into dangerous territory, so I'm going to go on to move on to Daryl and his prediction. Daryl, what is your prediction? And yeah, how do you see the game going? Do you think it's going to be really tight? And what's your prediction?
I think it'll be a tough game. I think we can come away with it. We know what they're like, especially when they're playing drop back and they're playing tight at the back. We don't tend to get through them, as you've said many times before. It's games like these we're going to have to win. I mean, I'm going to say it now. All I'm focusing on now is staying in the top 4, because we're not getting anywhere near the title. We're not going to beat City at the Etihad either, because what City seem to be one of the teams in a minute that we don't beat. By the way, also, I've got a good joke for you. What's the difference between Liverpool and hot chocolate? Hot chocolate stays in the cup longer.
I have to rate that. That's a great ending joke.
2-0 United, Bruno, and I'm going to put it out there. I think James.
Nice. No, to be fair, he's in good form right now. To be fair, after the Sociedad game, he played well. Hopefully, he does the same. But 2-0, and we've got, I think, was it 4-1? Was it 4-1? Was it, Adam?
Yes, I'm on the optimistic side. If Lindelof starts, though, I'm going 5-0 Newcastle.
Well, there you go. That is definitely two ends of the spectrum. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate Dazza and Adam for coming on as well as the guests. Make sure you do check out their channels, Dazza's Football Stand and Adam Talk Sport, as well as UK Dolphins as well. And also make sure you check out Rich Sports, brilliant stuff over there, and all the channels that we've mentioned on the stream. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you after the game tomorrow. Hopefully we win. Hopefully we get a good result. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all support. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.